Starting September 1st, a new Texas law will take effect aimed at helping families who are collectively owed billions of dollars in back child support.
In the 3 years that I've been battling in court, it's now gone over 80,000.
This week on Inside the Investigation, investigative reporter Arzo Dost explains why some parents waiting on child support say they're not hopeful the new law will help them. Hi, welcome to Inside the Investigation. I'm your host, Kelly Wiley, and today I'm talking to my colleague, investigative reporter Arzo Dost. Hi, Arzo. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Kelly. Always great to join you.
Always great to have you. Well, Arzo, for the better part of a year, you've been looking at problems with how the state, and specifically the Office of the Attorney General, holds parents accountable for not paying child support. And you're reporting on the billions, making sure everybody hears that right, billions of dollars owed to parents in back child support led to a new law that is supposed to bring some relief. Explain to us, what exactly would this do?
Well, Kelly, this new law, which goes into effect on Monday, essentially streamlines the child support, some procedures within the child support division. And really, it promises to reduce delays in some of these cases. Lawmakers' last regular session, this was a priority for Dallas Senator Royce West. And what this legislation will do is essentially give the AG's office the option to serve documents and notices through email if an email has been provided to the court.
So that could make a big difference in at least being able to get in touch with these folks. But I'm curious, after your first investigation, I remember you coming into the meeting and talking about the feedback that you were getting from other parents, other families that identified with the people in your story. Tell me about what they've said to you.
Kelly, this is a tip that we get on a regular basis regarding having some challenges when it comes to child support. But really, I started looking into it with our, colleagues in the investigative team since late last year. And since our initial reporting on this and how much was owed to families and some of the challenges that they were facing, we have now, since I would say about March, February, we've heard from more than 24 families impacted in one way or another, whether it's they can't get a hold of someone at the AG's office to help them with their case or help them understand what's going on, or it's that the other parent who is responsible for this child support can be found. The challenges are wide-ranging and they're really all across Texas.
And what do those families think about this new system? I mean, it's supposed to help and make things better. Do they feel confident that it'll have an impact?
Kelly, one of the key questions I asked, and I went through this legislation with some of the parents that you're going to hear from in our investigation on Monday. That's when the law goes in effect. I asked, what do you think this law means to you? How will it help you? And honestly, several parents that we've now talked to, I would say a handful about this particular legislation, have said they're really not hopeful that it will do anything. They say reform needs to happen within the child support division, and that's something they just haven't seen. And there is a bigger problem. They're thinking that maybe now with the email being a focus of this, that could help with some of their cases. But in many of these cases, they're owed so much and accountability has not really happened for them. So they're really not feeling very hopeful. I do want to mention, Kelly, that we've repeatedly reached out to the Attorney General's office. That's who enforces child support in Texas. We've repeatedly called, we've emailed, we've asked about, hey, how is this law going to be implemented? What is it going to mean to you guys? But we have not heard any responses.
There's some parallels there between the struggles that parents are having getting this child support and getting in touch with the person who owes it, and the issues that we're having getting in touch with the Attorney General's office. I'm curious because in your story, I was able to get a little sneak preview of it. And you talked to 3 different parents. And like you said, that's among 24 that you've spoken with so far. But break down one of their stories, because you talked about they're owed so much, but break down just one example of a parent and the conundrum that they're in.
You know, one of the parents we talked to, a father that we rarely hear from, usually we hear from mothers, but this father tells us for the last 3 years, he's been trying to get child support. It started 3 years ago at $40,000. Now he's more than $80,000 owed in child support. And the AG's office can't seem to locate the parent that owes this child support, and his daughter needs this money. At the end of the day, when you talk to any of these parents, and the 3 that we profiled in our story coming up, they say this money just really goes to help their kids. It goes to help buy school supplies. We just started school, clothes for school, different activities that they're involved in. It goes towards medical bills. In one of the cases, one mother said they had to put off, some need for an eye procedure because she was paying for braces and she didn't have enough to cover both. So these are tough decisions that are being made. And part of the problem is that there is no red flags being raised. For instance, the parents say, in one particular case, the mom said, I'll get child support 1 month. I won't get it the next month. So the next month I am, planning on that amount going to help with these certain things, but it doesn't come. And there's nothing that holds the parent who owes this child support and not getting it to the family accountable.
From the perspective of the families, I'm curious, what solutions did they think if these were in place, it would make all the difference?
We have measures in place if child support is not paid to the parent who has full custody. So everything from license suspensions to passport holds to jail time. The parents say these enforcement measures are not happening quick enough. Sometimes their cases are delayed for months to years just to be able to get in front of a judge and explain what's going on. And then on top of all this, some of them are having to turn to attorneys to help with their cases, hoping that expedites their case. But in some cases it does, and in some cases it doesn't.
And meanwhile, they're accruing legal bills. So the list of expenses is getting even higher. Well, Arzo, what's next for your reporting on all of this? Because now the law will go into effect. What's next for you as far as what you'll be paying attention to?
Well, we really want to talk to the Office of the Attorney General. We want to look at how the Child Support Division is, going about these kinds of complaints, these cases. We want to have a better understanding. And as I've mentioned, since late last year, every request that we've sent, every call that we made has not been returned. Over the summer, the AG's office did do a system upgrade, and that's supposed to also help expedite cases and help with efficiency of cases. But even during that time, we heard from parents who were saying, no, I'm not getting anything. There was something lost in that upgrade system. And so we also reached out to the AG's office asking about that. But instead of responding to our questions about what we were hearing from parents, they sent out a statement saying everything's working great. In fact, we've given out this amount of dollars in child support, no problems here. So really, we just want to be able to have a better understanding. The fact that the Child Support Division was involved in this legislation, they talked to lawmakers, but even Senator Royce West's office says, we just don't understand why they're not connecting with you guys about legislation meant to help.
Well, Arzo, we know that you'll stay on top of it. Thank you so much for your reporting and for joining us today. For those of you listening and watching, you can read more about Arzo's reporting on child support on KXAN.com under the Investigates tab. Thank you for joining us this week on Inside the Investigation. I'm Kelly Wiley, and we'll see you next time.